Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we've got a new series. 0.0 just dropped, well, about a week ago, and I've been playing it, and I'm liking it, but I couldn't really think of a new series, because my training series is still on go, but it's a lot harder to make than the other ones, and the other ones are pretty hard. So I decided to just play. I've installed a bunch of mods, and it's going to be basically another run through of the game. And what I'm going to do here is I'm playing on normal, but I'm turning off these three options. So the only thing I can do is revert and quick load. Other than that, everything I'm leaving the same, because I could make it harder for myself, but really that just increases the grind. All these options, all they do is make ramping up harder. That's all they do, and by hard, I mean more boring. We're Kerbodyne. We're going to be putting bases on every world. Remember the old bases series, the long ago? I didn't even call it bases at the beginning because I didn't know what it was. It was just me playing KSP. And this is just me playing KSP as well, kind of. And we're gonna do some bases. So the first thing I'm gonna do is accept this contract and accept this contract, and we're gonna be boring. And we are going to make a quick ship. The easiest ship you can, and we're gonna cut down the solid fuel. We don't want too much. We'll say 259. How does that sound? And we definitely don't want these things on the same stage. All these are all things that KSP still does, in spite of us not wanting it to. And let's go ahead and launch. And I have Science Alert. I have that installed. To make science easier for myself. Now, there is a landed on the launch pad EVA report available. I'm not going to take it. We are going to turn on SAS, and we're going to hit the space bar. We're going to tilt this guy over so when he's done here, he ends up in the water. And we broke 5 grand. We launched a new ship. First mission success. Now, the reason I wanted to land in the water is because I want to test something. Because Scott Manley, in his video, training you how to run Kerbal Space Program, showed us something interesting, and that is that if you use this thing, now if you land this thing on the ground, this will blow up because you land at less than 7 meters per second. However, if you land it in the water, for some reason, it didn't blow up, and it was just crazy. I don't know what that was. I don't know how it happened. But it's very intriguing to me because in earlier versions of Kerbal Space Program, that did not happen. Another thing that didn't happen in earlier versions of Kerbal Space Program is at 4 times time warp, with the parachutes opening, my ship didn't tear itself apart, which is always nice. Now, I am going to turn down the speed here just to watch this thing come down, because I am very interested in how this thing survives. I think he had a modded installed or something. But no! Sweet! Okay, now I'm not going to show you every step that I do here, but I am going to show you a couple things. I'm gonna go through every one of these altitude records, and I'm also going to try to take one thing on the launch pad as we go, just to maximize the contracts we get. I'm also going to fast track a couple certain things. I'm going to fast track the tracking station. I'm going to fast track the mission control, because that gives us flight planning, which is maneuver nodes. This gives us not only flight planning, which is maneuver nodes, but it also gives us orbits and patched conics visible in the map. So we can't afford this yet. And we can't afford this. So I'm just going to buy this because we're going to want it eventually. We also want to upgrade the R&D eventually, but that's not a big deal right now because we can buy all these things. Now, we've got 17 science left. This will give us 15, and it gives us this awesome engine, so I'm just going to research it right now. These are some of my favorite things. We also have to buy these parts, remember. We've only got 3 grand available, so we're probably not going to buy too much. So our simple little ship here needs a decoupler attached to it, so we can test that on the ground. So we're going to test that stack decoupler, land it on Kerbin, and then we're going to make it to 11,000 meters. And I think if we just fill this tank up, we should be good. So let's go ahead and launch Jeb into space. Well, into the lower atmosphere. Okay, we're still not going to do the CVA report. We are set as far as our staging is concerned. Jeb is happy. We are going to hit the space bar in 3, 2, 1, go! We have already completed this contract. Very good. And we'll get the money back for that part, which is nice. You can do a crew report. I must have missed that last time. Oh, because I had the crew report on the surface, and I couldn't hop out to get it. Or I didn't, I should say, hop out to get it. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Science Alert. I think it's one of those critical mods. I'm just tilting myself over because I know I'm going to break 11 grand now. There we go. Now that I've broken 11 grand, I'm going to hit the parachute to slow me down. Because I don't want to go above 22. And I won't now because I know my apoapsis is at 16. And actually, this will also test my theory of, when we hit the ground, will this thing still blow up? Or does it just have a better tolerance? Because we're at 7.8 meters per second. So in old versions of the game, this should blow up. And it did. So water is better now, somehow. Also, I have installed and I don't remember the name of the mod off the top of my head. I'll put it in the YouTube page to collect data, and I can actually auto collect it, and then boom, everything just every time I take a report, it just gets collected into this pod, which I think is awesome. And there we go. We had 3-some grand, now we have 7-some grand. We also have 18 sciences, which means we could unlock something. But honestly, I am going to want radial decouplers. They're so nice. I can live without these for a little while, although Separatrons are nice. I kind of want to get probe cores and plane parts as quickly as possible. So we pretty much need to get stability to get plane parts. I think it's after this. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna avoid these. I want to get I want to do some surveys, really, first and foremost. So I think I'm actually going to avoid these unless I feel like I need them. Honestly, I probably will end up needing them, but let's keep drilling down here. Set altitude record of 22 kilometers. And then radial decoupler landed at Kerbin, although this one doesn't pay very well. It does give me a little bit of science, which would be nice. But I think the better thing to do would be to test the LV909 liquid fuel engine splashed down at Kerbin. Because we're about at the point now where we need to start using liquid engines anyway, and the 909 is the one that I was going to use, but now I don't need to pay for it. We haven't bought any of these things. This one costs $1,600. I think we're just going to use this one for the time being. Now, according to Kerbal Engineer, which I'm going to put on compact, this is going to give us a ton of Delta V, so I think this will be fine. We need to get over 22 kilometers. This thing also has a crash tolerance of 7 meters per second. And just out of curiosity, this guy's crash tolerance is also 7, so obviously they fixed the landing in water thing, so your crash tolerance is higher when you land in water. I don't know how much higher, but it is. Also, this ship with no fuel in it and no oxidizer weighs 1.5 tons. That's what this informational window gives you here. And what I'm doing is I'm checking this compared to this with no solid fuel in it. Weighs 1.3 tons. So this actually weighs more. So it's going to be heavier, which means my engine might blow up when it lands. Which means I'm going to buy radial parachutes. That's expensive, but we're going to do it because I'm going to put 2 of them on this guy. And you'll note I'm using editor extensions. That's this down here. It's saying 2R and 22. If I hit X a whole bunch of times, I can go up to 10, 15, any number of symmetry options, which is really nice. I love that. I'm going to go back down to 2, though, because that's what I care about. Now, my ship already costs 3 grand. I've only got 7 grand available. That should be good as far as the top stage is concerned. So let's go ahead and buy one of these. This is getting expensive. Put it on our ship here. And attach this guy to it. That should get us up into the atmosphere. Oh, wait, I never put fuel back in this guy. Should probably do that. There we go. That guy should get us up pretty darn high. We should be able to get to 22 easily with this, and then maybe even do the 56. Okay, again, not doing a crew report from the launch pad. I should probably do that on a special mission, but let's go ahead and launch. First thing I'm going to do is turn just slightly so that when we do come back down, we'll be in the water. Watching my apoapsis, although right now it doesn't really matter because obviously we're just heading straight up as fast as possible. But if it gets, we want it to get up to 22. If it gets above about 40 or so, I'm going to start worrying. Actually, going to hit the brakes here because we just broke 22. We hit our first contract, which is nice. So let's go ahead and burn downward to slow ourselves down. Take a crew report this high. Might as well take that and turn on auto collecting. And we might as well save a little bit of the fuel to do a proper splashdown here, and also to make sure that I land in the water. If I have to, I could burn away, but it looks like we'll be fine. I've also got nav HUD installed, showing that I'm going to land in the water, which is always nice. So let's pop the chutes. I'm going to hit F5 because I never trust that the chutes aren't going to rip my pod apart. And for something like that, I'm willing to quick save and reload. And there you go, 5.7 meters per second. Should be a very safe landing, and we might as well save the fuel to, and we can't run the test. Now here's something that somebody told me you can do. You can add a new stage and then restage the engines. Let's try that. Okay, we're in the water. We apparently have a crew report. Oh, we're in the shores. We're splashed down in the shores, which is awesome. Okay, now let's try to test this engine. We did. It worked. We tested the engine. That's a cool thing to know. So if you land in the water with an engine that you've used and you need to test it, and it doesn't have the run test option here, you can just add a new stage and then hit the spacebar a couple times, and it will retest the engine, which is pretty awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and accept that contract. And let's recover Jeb. Okay, I'm checking out the whatever you call it, this place here, the administration building, and I want to accept this fundraising campaign as soon as I get to 25%. My setup cost is 144, and I can't do it because I don't have enough reputation. However, I think after the very next launch I'll be able to. But now let's go up to 33, and let's test this LVT-45 landed at Kerbin. Now it looks like we could have made 33 on this run here. On the last run that we did. So we're just going to use the exact same rocket. But we are going to add, at the bottom, this and this engine. And we're actually going to do all three of these things at the same time, which will test this engine, decouple, and send us into the air. Oh, I don't own the 909 anymore. Ha ha ha. Well, let's tell you what. Let's research it. Oh, I haven't purchased it. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, launch. Already got a contract completed, which is always nice. And it looks like we're going to reach 33, so I cut the engines again. I'm actually thinking this rocket can reach 55 if we, or 56, which is the next one. But I think I'm going to try this exact same rocket to reach 56. And also the achieve spaceness, because I think this guy might actually be able to make it into space if I just drill straight up. Flying over Kerbin's grasslands. That's a good crew report. Hit the chutes. Sadly, it means we're going to land in the grasslands. Huh. The engine ended up underground, but hey, what are you going to do? And we got the engine back, which is always nice. And Jeb did not gain any XP. Not a big deal. Okay, let's go ahead and recover this debris here, just to give ourselves the extra money. We're slowly ramping up our cash, which is nice, because we need 140 to be able to do anything fun in space. Now, yes, you can build ships that can do stuff. You can do stuff without upgrading this thing, but I just don't want to. It's not fun for me. Okay, so we need to... Did we... No, we didn't. Okay, 56K. Let's go ahead and accept this contract. And then probably escape the atmosphere. These are all in flight over. So yeah, I'm going to pick Escape the Atmosphere. We're going to accept this contract. We are at 45 science, which means we can research something from our next tree here. Batteries would be nice. But I think more nice is the Sputnik probe, because he can... first of all, he gets us closer to planes, and second of all, he gets us closer to satellite contracts. So we're going to research that. And then our next things is we got plane parts. This is very important because we basically need these to do survey contracts. The next most important thing is solar panels. Once we get solar panels, we can do probes. And then after that, the next most important thing is to get this, and then down here is landing gear. So I think we're probably going to do this for probes first. Okay, we don't need this on the bottom anymore. We just got this, we got to do this standard thing here, and I'm actually going to thrust limit this guy a little bit to give us a little bit more... what's our thrust to weight here? Just so that we get a little bit more, because if his thrust gets too high, we're wasting fuel. And the only purpose of this rocket is to reach space. Okay, and because we thrust limited this guy, we're actually got a much higher apoapsis than we did last time it burned out, which is nice, although we're going a little bit slower. Are you excited, Jeb? You're going to space. All you can do up there is take a crew report. You notice I'm not bringing Mystery Goose. The reason is, right now my bottleneck is funds, not science. We are having a much harder time making money than we are getting science. Once we unlock survey contracts, that's going to get even crazier. So I don't think it's a priority to go for science. I just don't. So I'm not going to bother carrying these goo containers up here with my little dinky rockets until that will actually help. You're now higher than you've ever been, but we have to get to 56, and we also would like to get above 70. It's looking a lot like we'll do both of those things. Let's go ahead and physics warp ourselves above 56. And then above 70. And we can do a crew report up here. And go ahead and turn on auto collect, so that if another crew report ability comes up, we will get it. And one thing I forgot to do was I forgot to go into mission control and set up the thing to give me more funds for reputation. So I'm going to do that after we land here. Oh, a little bit of jitter there. But it didn't hurt you. Looks like we're still flying over grasslands, which means we are not going to get any new science when we land. But as I've said before, that's not a big deal. Yeah, our reputation is 512 now. That should be enough, definitely, to get our commitment to 25%. Now, all we can do is 25%, because you need to upgrade the facility to go more than 25%. But that's fine. And we want 25% of our reputation gains, and for every reputation we would have gotten, we instead get 7.5 funds. Okay, now we want to orbit Kerbin. This is going to give us a lot of money and a lot of science. And we also want to test something. I guess the radial decoupler here, it's time to try it here. So this ship can't get into orbit. We need about another $1.5 grand, give or take, of Delta V. I'm going to design this craft off camera because it'll take a little bit more finagling, and we'll figure it out, and then I'll come back when I'm done with that. Okay, here's the ship I have designed. It's a 4-stage affair. Actually, it's a 5-stage affair, but the first stage is just to test this radial decoupler. I have found that you can save the decoupler. If you just slap a decoupler on the side of your ship and hit the spacebar to test it, that decoupler blows up. If you put a couple struts on it here, modular girder segments, it will they will block it, and you have to kind of give it a lip around here so that the only way this thing would blow up is if it hits the ground on the other side, which generally it doesn't do. Okay, first contract. Boom! Saved us money. Go ahead and accept that, or delete it, or whatever. Still can't do the EV report, so let's go ahead and hit the T key, and 3, 2, 1, go! But this rocket flies a lot like the other ones did, except for the fact that I'm actually going to do a gravity turn, which is kind of crazy when it comes down to it. But yeah, it gets us up to the terminal velocity pretty well. And it looks like above. Now we can actually throttle down a little bit because we have an engine that can throttle. We still want to keep our atmospheric efficiency here at just about 100. We're also way too high. We should be at 45 degrees by now. The ship doesn't have... Oh, this ship doesn't have a gimbling engine. But it doesn't have a ton of margin for error, which is bad considering how much error I'm introducing into the margins here. But, okay, we're set now. Okay, once my apoapsis gets up to about 30 here, I'm going to start bringing it down, just like I always do. Once it gets up to 40, I'm going to bring it down. Once it gets to 45, I'm going to bring it down, whoop, to here. And then once it gets to 50, I'm going to bring it down to the horizon. And we got a ton of delta V, so I think we're going to be fine. The big problem is drag right now. We've got the delta V to get into orbit. I don't know if we have the delta V to get into orbit and fight drag. If we don't, it was all my fault because I'm the one who screwed this thing up. Any modders out there? I just had an idea for a mod. It at least warns you, if not automatically removes all monoprop from all command pods if you don't have any monoprop jets on your ship. Just a thought. Okay, we got our apoapsis up to 80, which should be plenty. All we got to do is get into orbit. Okay, we're in space, but we've been in space before. Today's exercise is not space. It's orbit. And we're there. 30 science, 59.332 buddies, and some rep too. We still don't have patch conics unlocked, but I think we're really close to being able to do it. But I'm just going to get us near Kerbal Space Center here. And also, our first day is almost over, I just realized. I think the first day starts at noon anyway. But I'm going to try to land us in this desert so we get some extra science here. Probably too much, but we'll land somewhere that we've never been before. That's the important thing. Oh yeah, we're well short of the thing, but we can take a crew report here. Let's go ahead and keep that data. Let's go ahead and time warp down to 3 times. Maybe that'll be enough. I'm doing this so that when I do land, because he's going to fall over backwards, I want to make sure that the command pod is on this side so that he can get out of the ship. Oh well, at least we ended up. There we go. Stop rolling. This thing is going to roll all the way down the hill. Okay, let's go ahead and do a crew report. Go ahead and keep that data. Let's let this thing roll, I guess. Eventually it'll stop, right? I don't want to do an EVA report until it stops rolling, that's for sure. We're like getting another report type. I think it's just the other EVA report, the flying EVA report. Okay, it's getting a little scary, actually. Oh, that's funny. We've actually moved from the mountains to the highlands. We're right on the border here. Okay, this can... We're at a low enough slope that this can finally hold us here. So, let's go ahead and do an EVA report. And we'll get flying here. From Kerbin's Highlands, keep that data. Oh no, your ship is leaving you. Store your data. Can you take another crew EVA report now? Okay, this is kind of useless. Let's go ahead and recover this ship. Oh, we can't recover it because it's rolling. Oh man. Okay, let's recover Jeb, and then maybe we can recover that from the map view. Okay, the sun is setting on Kerbal Space Center. I think that is a great time to finish. We cannot recover it. Oh, I have to say got it. There you go. We can recover it now. Got all the science out of it. We got 82. We're almost at 90, which is what I think I need for that thing. We've got 182 funds, which is an interesting number. Mostly because it is higher than this number, which I think was 144. 140. So we would still have 42 grand. And the ships I'm building right now cost in the realm of, like, yeah, less than 10 grand. So let's go ahead and get our patched conics that we have always wanted. I think this was a very successful first day of our space program. We have upgraded a couple facilities. The next upgrade that I'm going to want is the astronaut complex so that Kerbals can do EVAs. That's really the only thing that I care about is their ability to do EVAs. And we also, as I said, we want to get these plane parts here, which are going to cost 90. And we also want solar panels, which cost 90. I think we're going to get the solar panels first, because that'll let us do satellite contracts. And then we're going to do these plane parts, and then drill down to landing gear, because we can actually do surveys without landing gear, but it's a lot harder. So first is going to be satellite contracts to make tons of cash. Because if you look here, oh, actually no, we're not going to have any satellite contracts to look at. But these surveys get you science. And they get you funds. The lower tier ones, the higher tier ones actually do really nice things. But the very next thing we're going to do, because we've done these things here, we're going to do the science data from space around Kerbin, and we're also going to rescue Sanzon Kerman from Kerbin. He is in orbit. I don't think it tells you what his orbit is. No, it does not. However, it gets us a ton of funds, which is nice. See what his orbit is. He has a nice high orbit, over 100. That makes me happy. These surveys are both near Kerbal Space Center, which means it'll be really easy to do these once we unlock plane parts. So we're going to rescue Sanzon next episode, and then the episode after that, or maybe even during next episode, we're going to put a satellite up and then maybe start some surveys. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it. In the future, we're going to be putting bases on every world. Like I said, I've already installed Carbonite, which is the open source alternative to Cathane. And when it updates, I'm going to be installing extraplanetary launch pads for Carbonite. And I'm really excited about that. I hope you're excited too. I am Fifth Horseman, and I will, as always, talk at you later.